I want to say I appreciate you, the way you appreciate us. Thank you for explaining how it all works. So I wanted to tell you a little story about when I was younger and ask you what it indicates to you. So I would have a desire for something, major decisions like what college I was going to go to, what type of business I wanted to work in, the person I wanted to marry, a major city I wanted to move to. So there's like half a dozen times that I had laser sharp focus on what I wanted to do and what I wanted. Didn't get any of it. But in all categories, I got something way better, much better. And it was something that I wouldn't even have known to ask for. So I got this feeling like there was someone else saying, no, you want something, we have something in mind much better for you. And I would receive it.
Well, here's what's going on. You're really going to like this. All of you are. So as you're sifting through the details of life, you're launching these incremental rockets of desire. And it's not likely, maybe even possible, for any of you to really comprehend the full picture that you have incrementally been painting. So your vortex, let's just start by saying, is vaster and more extraordinary than its individual components that you've tossed in, because each desire is a vibrational thinking, attracting entity, attracting to itself. And so that's why this reality that you're creating here vibrationally is getting bigger and bolder and more dynamic. And that's why you can't yet see it and hear it and smell it and taste it and touch it, but you can sense it. So then, your question fits so nicely with what we just said before, that as you begin to articulate the things that you believe you are wanting, you're articulating as best you can through the resistance that you hold, because almost everyone has enough resistance within them that they can't really understand what's going on in here. You can feel it, but you can't speak it into being quite yet. Now, this is the best part of this conversation. So do you get it? Do you understand that your inner being is standing over here in this vortex, being all that you've asked for, being so much more than you've been able yet to allow yourself to be, being it so powerfully, law of attraction, summoning and calling you to your own beingness. But you can only hear as much as the resistance in your experience allows you to hear. So when we talk about your inner being calling you, your inner being is calling you along your path of least resistance, and your inner being knows what things you can hear and what things you're not ready to hear. You follow that? So when we talk about being in the receptive mode, where you hear or you get an impulse, that's just the impulse that you're most ready to hear at any given time, given the resistance that you hold. And so it would be accurate to say that you rarely really hear what your inner being is calling you to, but your inner being is completely content just to call you over there, so it can 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 finally call you over there, you see. And along the way, every impulse, every feeling is as much as you can get, and it's as much as you are able to decipher, given the resistance that you hold. And every time it's enough, every time it's just right. But that explains exactly what you were talking about. One thing leads to another, leads to another. It's not so different from Esther losing her beautiful gold pen. And they'd moved to another state and she couldn't find it, and she really wanted it. It was expensive, it was meaningful, and it was her favorite thing to write letters with. It was a beautiful fountain pen, so well balanced in her hand, and she couldn't find it. She looked everywhere, unpacked every box, went through all of her handbags, went through her handbags instantly, kept going back to the closet, feeling through them, feeling in the lining, feeling them. It's gone, it's gone, it's gone. She said to Jerry, I cannot find it. And he said, oh good, something to buy. But Esther wasn't satisfied. This one was sentimental. She wanted it. She really, really wanted it, but she could not find it. And we explained to her, you cannot find what's lost. You cannot find something that you believe is lost. You cannot find something you believe you cannot find. Talk about resistance on your trail. If it's lost, even if it's there, you can't see it. It's lost. We're not kidding you. Your perception, you are translating thoughts to things, and your perception is everything, you see. So then she finally gave up on it, just accepted that it was gone. Didn't want to, but did. And then about a month later, she was looking for a little perfume sprayer. Hadn't seen it either. So she reached in a purse that she thought it was last in and came out with that pen. She wasn't looking for the pen that was lost anymore. So then she could find it. And so that's kind of what goes on. In other words, your inner being will guide you. So Esther's inner being guided her to look for the perfume that she believed was in the place where the pen was. You see what we're getting at? Because her inner being knew where the pen was. Esther had felt around in that bag, dumped it upside down. It is uncanny how clever the universe is to give you what you believe.
I was going to share two stories with you that illustrate what you were talking about before. I found a leather jacket that was $1,000, and I was considering buying it. Never said I can't afford it, because I could afford it, but it felt extravagant to me. So I debated it, finally went ahead and bought it, and a few weeks later I inherited $100,000. And the other one was when I was 16, I decided I wanted to work in a grocery store, and I had a paper route. Didn't apply at any grocery stores. I went around to all my customers in my paper route and I said, I'm quitting the paper route because I'm getting a job in a grocery store. But again, never applied at any at that point. And one day I'm sitting in class and a man came in and asked for me, said, I got your name from your counselor. We need somebody to start at a supermarket tonight. Would you be interested in the job? So I had gone around and had those conversations and talked about it without any effort and got it.
So that's an excellent demonstration of what we're talking about. Your inner being is always guiding you to the path of least resistance. And it's your path and it's your resistance. And we really want you to hear us when we say your inner being holds no judgment about the resistance that is on your path. Just understands it and guides you over and under and around and through it. What difference does it make? Aren't interesting journeys interesting? So the key is to just be as happy as you can be, as often as you can be happy, and therefore in the state of as least resistance as possible, and then follow your impulses. That takes a little practice to trust yourself to do that, doesn't it? Really good.
Thank you.
Really good.
Thank you.
Stand if you can.